What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. Now, over on YouTube yesterday, we had 3 new members. We had Merriest Dawning, everyone, SE, and Strange Losers. Thank you so much. And over on Patreon, we had Christy. Thank you so much for your support. You know it means the world to me, right? I hope you do by now. I say it every day. But thank you to each and every one of you for really taking the times out of your days to be here. As I always say, your time is extremely important, and for you to dedicate it towards this channel is absolutely amazing of you. So thank you so much. Our Christmas competition on Discord is really starting to spice up, so come get involved over there. And with that being said, let's just crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole? Gave away an unwanted dog back to the breeder. Throwaway because I know my ex Reddits and I don't need my post history examined. A month ago, my 27 male, then girlfriend 29 female, got me a puppy for my birthday. We had agreed upon a cat from a nearby shelter that was very sweet, and the day she left to pick up the kitty, she instead went to a breeder and brought a 10-week-old Siberian Husky. I asked where my new cat was. Girlfriend decided cats won't help my unmasculine image. I'm skinny as fuck, asthmatic with glasses, who could fit into any nerd movie. But a dog would, so she told the shelter I changed my mind and got something better. I hit the fucking roof. I told her to get the hell out and take the dog with her. I know about huskies. My small apartment and homey lifestyle doesn't work for them. I'm more of a fat bulldog lifestyle. If I had to get a dog, I admit it. She stormed out and left the dog. I took care of him for about a week while trying to find the breeder. Meanwhile, girlfriend is ignoring my calls and texts. This is the am I the arsehole part. I broke into her email since her password was saved on my laptop and found some emails with a breeder about a 3-hour drive away. I contacted them and talked to a very nice woman who confirmed the dog was hers and was very eager to take him back upon finding out she was lied to over the circumstances the dog was going into. We agreed I am not suitable for a husky at all, and she offered a full refund for him when she picked him up. I told her to keep the money because girlfriend was a liar and deserved it. Girlfriend found out I gave the dog back and couldn't get her money back and said I was an arsehole for stealing the dog and convinced her family somehow that I was on a scam to bilk her out of $2,000. We broke up obviously, but how much of an arsehole here am I really? Now, you know I hate saying red flag, but there was a major red flag when she was saying stuff like, it will help with like your image, it'll make you more masculine if you get a husky. I mean, what fucking kind of logic is that? That's insane. But personally, I think OP did totally the right thing in this scenario to, you know, give the dog back because he knows it's not suitable. Hell, to keep in a husky in an apartment, it doesn't sound very big at all. That's absolutely crazy, especially when he wanted a cat in the first place. And I personally prefer like getting pets from shelters anyway. That's just a me thing. I know some people do go to breeders to get pets, but I think if you can rescue an animal, it's just such a better thing to do, in my opinion. That's a very much me opinion, I know that. And I think it's really decent of like the original breeder to take the dog back and even offer a full refund, even though you did sort of like say, no, you can keep that. That's let's just call that a stupid tax on your girlfriend's part or your ex-girlfriend's part. And I think she totally deserved that. So I think you did the right thing in this scenario. But let's have a look at some of the comments below to see what they say. H.J. Hoff says, you did the right thing. How dare she take a puppy into a situation for those reasons? Not the arsehole and dump her ass. Edit, I see you did break up. Good for you. Renzy Face says, not the arsehole. You and the dog both dodged bullets. Did you get the kitty? OP replied, I'm working on it. When she told them I wasn't interested, it kicked me out of their application queue, so I had to resubmit, and they don't like rehoming pets this close to Christmas. Ironically, because of people gifting pets. Oh no. Any play says not the arsehole. If you can't have a husky because you can't care for it properly in your environment, then you shouldn't have a husky. And why would she agree on a cat and then get a dog? What the hell? A cat won't help your unmasculine image, but a dog will. How does that work? If your girlfriend is calling you unmasculine, there's something wrong. I don't think you deserve to get her money back, but that is my opinion. Way too many UIDs says, not the arsehole, what sort of lunatic thinks a husky of all dogs is an appropriate pet for an apartment? Eternity says, not the arsehole, good breeders have clauses in their adoption contracts requiring the dog to be returned to them should the pup not be a good fit for your family. Far better to return the animal to the breeder than to just dump it. Now, what do you guys think of this scenario? What do you think OP should do? Do you think he was right to sort of break into the email and find the breeder and all that sort of thing, and then let the breeder keep the money too? Or should he have gone about it a different way? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And a small little interlude here, just to say thank you everyone yesterday for saying, you know, carry on waffling on because you enjoy it and all that sort of thing. It really did mean the world to me, you know. Those comments the other day where people were saying, like, stop talking too much, read the stories and all that kind of thing. It really did knock me back a couple of steps, you know, my confidence. And I know that sounds quite pathetic to say because they're just YouTube comments, and most of the time they just bounce off me, but occasionally they sort of catch me out. They get under my armor and they wiggle around in there, which is really annoying. And sometimes I really do feel like I am talking way too much, like I'm doing right now. But the comments really did mean the world to me, so thank you for that. And our next story is from Drinky Motion. Am I the arsehole for dramatically running away from an intervention my mother-in-law threw for me? Husband 28 male and I 28 female, live in Colorado. We love beer and we have an active lifestyle, hiking, snowshoeing, skiing. No beer hits like a beer after climbing a 14er. And I love a glass of wine in the bath on a lazy Sunday afternoon. My mother-in-law loves to clean her kids' houses as a gift quarterly. This works because we're notorious lazy deep cleaners. This is important. A week ago, she asked to meet her at the park. I showed up to find a bizarrely socially distant group of my in-laws waiting for me with a box. She started saying, "Kaylee, this is an intervention. We're here because we love you, etc." It was awkward and I got nervous. She opened the box and showed 3 empty bottles of wine and 2 full bottles of wine, plus an empty 16-ounce beer can. She looked at me pityingly and said, "Sweetie, I found your stash. I know you have a drinking problem." I was caught off guard and looked at the pile and it clicked. A few months ago the bathroom sink backed up and we were rushing around trying to clear things for the plumbers to take care of it. I must have shoved my empty wine bottles and a shower beer can in my closet. The full bottles were purposely hidden because this was going to be Christmas gifts for my husband. I tried explaining everything and she put a hand on my shoulder and said, "I know it's hard to accept you have a problem, but everyone is here because we love you." Look, I drink beer with a dinner or after work a few times a week. A beer or 2 at a brewery, not lately obviously, with friends, and occasionally have some wine while taking a bath. I haven't even had a hangover since college. Then she smashed the wine bottles that were for my husband, saying it's for my own good. I started yelling at her that they were presents. She looked at me in the eye and she did it again. So I ran back to our house sobbing. She called/left messages saying I can't hide from my problem and that she would be talking to my husband about sending me away for detox. She was tired of me hurting everyone by forcing my choices on everyone, i.e. not giving her grandkids the one sore spot between us I thought she'd gotten over. She didn't explain to my husband what the stash was, just that she found one, and he turned on me for running away from the intervention, saying that made me look guilty as hell. I felt so alone. The issue became I made myself seem guilty by running. My husband understands what happened now, but he's told me I need to find a way to put it all behind and maybe just not drink around his family for a while. I don't agree. I'm not going along with this. Fine, I won't drink around his family, but I'm not apologising for running away when I felt scared and cornered, and I'm absolutely not copping to a drinking problem when I don't have one. Am I the arsehole for not going along with this to make everyone happy? I feel like I'm going crazy. Damn, man, you didn't even have that much alcohol to begin with. 2 bottles of wine, what, and a can of beer, and you seem to have an alcohol problem because it's stashed somewhere. Hell, man, if they come to my house and saw my beer stash, they would say I have a definite problem. And I know they claim to do it out of love and all this kind of thing and trying to be looking after someone, but there's a better way to do it than this, surely. To invite someone out to a park with all your relatives stood there and saying, "This is an intervention." Oh, God. I don't think I would ever let her in your house again to go for this cleanup thing, because if she's going to cause that sort of trouble, she's obviously snooping around and then making assumptions of what she finds, which is absolutely wrong. But Let's have a look at Swiggity Bloodlust says, couple of things. Number one, interesting and telling that she threw an intervention without your husband involved. That means she knows it's shady, or it means something else, which is both shitty and shady. Two, why assume that stuff was yours? Why not her son's? Why not both of yours? Three, that loves to clean her kids' houses is a trap. She's snooping. It's an excuse. I've heard it many, many times. Not the arsehole for sure, yet I would start asking some questions if I were you. Top FM says, I wouldn't apologise. 2 bottles is hardly a stash. She was just way out of line. She could have asked you privately about it, but jumping to conclusions and involving the whole family is just a dick move in my opinion. Talk to your husband about how you feel alone and wronged and see what he has to say. The mother-in-law is just ridiculous for blowing this out of proportion. Subversive Socialite says, not the arsehole. That's incredibly toxic and it's going to be a long road to come back from being so betrayed and gaslit. Your husband should have been supporting you, not allowing her to intervene in your marriage that way, and you both should move away from her, at least turn down her offers to help in the future, because it's just a cover for snooping. How does she know that wasn't your husband's stash? Now, I turn it to you guys. Imagine yourself in OP's position. What would you do in that scenario? If you was invited to a park and then told this is an intervention and told you have an alcohol problem even though you don't, how would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story is from FrameClear4317. Am I the arsehole for giving my family the silent treatment over their slut bet? I'm a freshman in college, and before college I was homeschooled basically my whole life. Because of that I have pretty bad social anxiety. Regardless of that, I was really excited to go to college and finally have freedom, apart from the COVID safety measures. My parents really didn't want me to go and threw a huge fit about it since they think I only want to go sleep around and drink. Every time I spoke to them while I was away, they would try to get me to come back home, so I stopped answering their calls as often, which really pissed my mum off. I went from talking to my parents multiple times a day to around once a week, that I would still speak with my siblings. They were literally obsessed with the idea of me leaving their home and becoming a whore, which was odd since they'd never been like that before. They have this idea that I'm a good girl gone wild. They used to let me have co-ed sleepovers and hang out with guys whenever I wanted. Anyways, I was talking to my sister, 15, and she told me about this bet that my family had made. I guess in retaliation for me not answering their calls. They were betting if I'd become a slut in college. They were speculating on when I'd lose my virginity, how many guys I'd sleep with, if I'd sleep with a girl, etc. She sent me a few screenshots and it seemed almost like a big passive-aggressive joke. It wasn't just my parents in it, it had my siblings, cousins and aunts. While they were seemingly kidding, I felt extremely embarrassed. I didn't know how to bring it up because I didn't want my sister to get in trouble for showing me it, so it went on for a while. I finally texted my mum about it and asked her if she would please delete the chat, or at least add me to it, so it wasn't just my family talking and clowning behind my back. I didn't mention that it was my sister who had shown it to me. My mother insisted that they weren't talking about me and that I was being a prima donna, even though I literally had evidence. Since it was obvious that they weren't going to delete it, I told my mum that I wasn't going to come home for Christmas and that I wasn't going to come visit her after her surgery. She's having surgery soon and asked me to come. Partially out of anger and because of embarrassment. Christmas is my mum's favourite holiday. She always goes all out for it. She wanted me to be her caretaker after the surgery since after Christmas her money will be tight and she didn't want to pay for one. She says that I'm abandoning her and I think she stabbed me in the back. Am I the arsehole? What I don't get about this story, this is your parents. You're their child and they've got a bet about you sleeping around. That is messed up in my opinion. That is really, really crazy. And even if you was sleeping around, your sex life is absolutely none of their business. If you want to sleep around, that's on you. For them to be texting each other and joking behind your back is absolutely disgusting in my opinion. Not the arsehole at all. And I wouldn't blame you, even if they did delete it or whatever. I still wouldn't blame you for not going around there because that is absolutely disgusting. They got a lot of apologizing to do. And I would literally just say, look, you made this bed, you can lie in it, and you can pay for a carer for this. But Lewin Aylin says, not the arsehole. Tell them you've got pregnant from an orgy and all the potential dads want to visit. Tibbletabs114 says, not the arsehole. They would all be getting Christmas cards from me with their chats printed in them. Ooh, I like it. Even Speech says, This sounds really nuts. Who does that? Did not a single person in the family object to this line of texting amongst themselves? Your family is so far out of line. This is indecent. Don't go home for Christmas. Take the screenshots your sister sent you and print them out and send them to each of these awful relatives as a Christmas card. Their behaviour is reprehensible. Valerian Spiel says, not the arsehole, wow. Their little betting pool is one of the most disgusting things I've ever read about on this sub. I can't imagine talking about my own child that way. And that was my thoughts. I was like, how can someone talk about their own children that way? I can't believe that. And Dull Community says, not the arsehole, your family is a bunch of arseholes. I'm curious, are you the first in your family to go to college? It almost sounds like they're jealous or resent your decision to go, so they're disparaging you in the only way they can think of. I agree with another comment to tell mum you can't come Christmas or take care of her because it conflicts with a big old holiday. Slut orgy you and your slutty friends have slut planned for slut Christmas. Slut Christmas. What a holiday. Trickster Trio says, not the arsehole, your sex life is really none of their business. Your mum calling you a prima donna when you called her out says she cares more about her joke than your feelings. So fuck her feelings when you don't come home. Hold strong and don't visit. When she inevitably throws a bitch fit about how hurt she is that you didn't see her after surgery, tell her now she knows how that chat makes you feel. When she tries to claim that's different, tell her she's being a prima donna and hang up. In fact, throw words back at her every time she whines at you until she apologises and deletes the chat. You also made the right call to go low contact. What kind of garbage person slut shames their daughter just because she left home? Now I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in that situation if you found out your family was talking about you this way behind your back after you'd just gone to college? How would you feel about that and what would you do? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for telling my daughter she can't come over for the holidays if she brings her partners? My daughter moved away 2 years ago to attend university. Since starting school, she has gone through many changes as a person, many of which I find difficult to get behind. She rejects and mocked our faith, rebranded her entire identity, and now lives in some kind of threesome situation. We've argued and fought over many things repeatedly over the past couple of years. When the lockdown began, it gave ample opportunity to give space between us, as she didn't visit at all for the summer, or even this Thanksgiving. Our interactions have broken down to the occasional phone call, and overall the separation has helped us be more amicable. I've accepted her new hobbies and dress. I use the pronoun she prefers when speaking to her. That being said, my husband and my younger daughter are really adamant about having her stay over during the Christmas break this year. They miss seeing her and spent the last couple of weeks trying to convince me to allow her to come. I'm extremely wary to have her come, as things have gotten better, mostly because we've been so apart. Regardless, I relented and decided to invite her. In my last call with her, I asked her to come over for the holidays. She was being hesitant and giving me a straight answer, but I ultimately said alright. She however wanted to bring her partners with her. I flatly told her that I wouldn't allow that. She tried to argue her side, but I was honestly not willing to shake my stance. I told her if she wanted to come for the holidays, she would have to come alone. She told me she wasn't coming, and that was it. My husband has tried to get me to call her back, but I haven't done so far. I do not want to invite attention to that lifestyle to my daughter, and frankly I think it's weird for her to be dating 2 people at once. Still, my family won't stop prodding me about this, which is starting to affect the way I feel or how I handled the situation. Edit, addressing a lot of questions and responses individually would take a lot of time, so here's a few bullet points responses. Our family is Baptist, thus our faith have very clearly defined moral code. My husband understands how I'm connected to my faith. That is why I get the final say in this. He is in no way a weak man. My youngest is understanding of this too. My eldest know I refer to her as my daughter. Whether she wanted her partners going to stay with us or they were going to stay somewhere else was not discussed between us. There is an underlying fear of COVID, which is another thing I have to protect my youngest from. And of course, I love my daughter. Now we're going to start off with Mysterious System 680 saying, you're the arsehole. Why, if your husband and younger daughter want your older daughter to stay for the holidays, do you think that you and you alone should make that call? You're being very selfish. As for your concerns about your younger daughter seeing her sister's relationship, I'd be more concerned about the risk harm you would cause her by showing her that love is conditional. Throwaway says you're the arsehole. If it was for wanting to reduce the risk of getting COVID and not because you don't want to expose your youngest daughter to that lifestyle, then maybe the answer should be a little different. And if the child you're referring to in this post uses she/hers pronouns, why are you using them here? Plastic Fang says, so you strictly speaking have the right to refuse entry in your home to anyone for any kind of reason. However, rejecting your child's romantic partners on the basis being two of them makes you the arsehole. What pronouns does your child use? You refer to them as your daughter here and use she/her, but also say that you only use the preferred pronoun when speaking to them. This also makes you hugely the arsehole. You also seem to have some issue with the way your child dresses. This is none of your business. In short, you're the arsehole for destroying your relationship with your kid. And Sufficient Cat says, in quotes, I've accepted her new hobbies and dress I use the pronoun she prefers when speaking to her. But not when talking to her to other people, right? Because you don't actually accept her. You just say what you have to in front of her as to not fight with your family. Now I turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation and how would you deal with it? Imagine putting yourself in the daughter's or the husband's shoes too. How should they deal with this situation? They really want their daughter to be there for Christmas. Let us know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. Once again guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you have enjoyed today's stories, and if you have, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And don't forget to come join us in Discord for our Christmas competition, which is ending Christmas Eve. 3 prizes to be won, and you know, it's just all about the festive feels. Come get involved, it'd be great to see you. And a huge thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here today. It is always appreciated, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys, much love.